the game, cause see the boxing voice.
And welcome everyone to It's the Squared Circle, the sports Swami only on ThaBoxingvoice.com. And now joining me on the line, this man here, well, he has been known right now as the Upset Kid. His last 5 fights, he has pulled off the upset in at least 3 of them. He's now making his way up light heavyweight rankings, and, well, he was the story of 2015 in a lot of ways. I give you the pride and joy of Cedar Hill, Texas. I give you Samuel Clarkson. Samuel, let's start off here with your most recent one. You, LeVar Neville, you came in here as the bit of a favorite, and, well, after getting dropped 3 times in 2 rounds, what is it like now, having basically now being one of the hotter free agents on the market?
Oh man, it's definitely a blessing, man. You know, I've been training so hard, man. Like I feel like it's definitely my time to shine. And you know, through all the ups and downs in the boxing game, I feel like I just now making my stride. Like I found what's comfortable for me, and I'm also adding to it so I don't stay the same. So I mean, it's a beautiful feeling, man. I love it.
What's the difference? What's the biggest change for you from light heavyweight to super middleweight? Because most fans knew you as having a fight with Jesse Hart. You, before that, had a couple good fights with Chad Trahan, lost to John Phillips. You're beating better guys. What changed? Was the weight that different for you and having more weight and having to cut less weight?
Well, I feel like when I was fighting in super middleweight, like looking back at my career from now, I feel like fighting in super middleweight just prepared me for what's to come at light heavyweight. I've had some very, very tough battles. I've never really just had no easy fights. I have had some, but I've always had to take the harder route. So I feel like at super middleweight, I've been war tested and battle tested. I've been through the worst at super middleweight. So going into light heavyweight, I know how to fight out of certain situations, and I feel like that's the difference. I really feel confident at light heavyweight. I feel a lot stronger. I still have to cut weight. I still have like 20 pounds to lose. Going to make 175. So I feel really, really confident and comfortable at 175, and I feel like everything I learned from super middleweight has shifted to light heavyweight.
Take us back all the way to February of 20th. It was you, Cedric Agnew. You were going into enemy territory, going into Rye Brook, New York. You're taking on Cedric Agnew, who signed with the Bell Entertainment. He had just come off of a win after fighting a tough fight against Sergey Kovalev. And all of a sudden, throughout that fight, leading up to the fight, the weight got changed. You had to go to 178. He probably comes in at 200 pounds. What made you do that? What made you keep going forward with that fight, even though you knew that you were going to be fighting a guy who was probably cruiserweight more than light heavyweight?
Well, it was funny. When we got the phone call, we were actually at church. And, you know, my pastor, he always talks about how, you know, the whole David and Goliath. And I felt like I was David going into the battle with Goliath. I mean, I really want to test myself. You know, what's a fighter if you don't believe in yourself? You know what I'm saying? So I did my research on him, and I really studied him and Sergey Kovalev, and I really was ecstatic about fighting him. I really just wanted to see where I was at going into the fight, and I was really confident. It was a really big step up for me. I'll never forget the emotional roller coaster before the fight, but it gave me the confidence I needed, and it gave me everything I was looking for. I found it in that fight when I won. I got knocked down in the second round, and I got up, and I had to fight harder, and I fought harder, and I was up before him, and I beat him to the middle of the ring each round, and I really was hungry. I was really hungry to make a statement on who I was and what I was bringing to the table as far as a boxer, and I got that from that fight.
What changed in that fight from a Jesse Hart fight? Because in a Hart fight, it seems once you knock you down, you start getting more frustrated. You started, letting things get out of control. In this fight against Agnew, you got knocked down the second round, and it seems in the third round, you went back to basics. You went back to jabbing, moving around, keeping off that balance, making him chase you. What changed mentally?
Well, when I fought Hart, Hart really, man, he's a very, 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 very experienced fighter. We was in nationals together. I was familiar with who he was, and when I fought him, I don't know how it happened, but I ended up getting thumbed in my eye. I really couldn't see. I was frustrated. I started to panic because I really couldn't see out of my right eye. And then his height was a real big problem for me at the time, and I really just couldn't do what I wanted to do. I was frustrated, and I was just like, let's just finish the fight. I finished the fight, and I was really hard on myself. I'm my biggest critic. I went to the back room. I was really devastated. I was so angry, and I came home and I worked out the next day. I didn't take no time off, and I made a promise to myself that no matter how tall or how bad the circumstances are, if you have to fight out of it, I will have to fight out of it. Now, that's a promise I made to myself that day, and that's exactly what I did. And when I fought Agnew and he had knocked me down, I really don't know how he knocked me down, honestly. We watched it a couple of times, and it looked like he grazed the top of my head, and when I sat down, all I kept saying to myself was, get up, because I didn't know if it was being aired, but I know my son was waiting for the results, and if I would have stayed down and quit, it would have been okay for me to raise my son to grow up and be a quitter, and that's one thing I'm not doing.
It's safe to say that if the Agnew fight was your coming out party, Jerry Odum was the one that put you really big on the map in terms of a rising kid. Here was a guy who, 13-1 coming in, knocked out Villar Quinones, knocked out Aaron Hernandez. His only loss was a DQ. And I'm watching that fight, and you're just beating the living hell out of him. You dropped them basically 3 times in the span of 3 rounds there. Were you shocked that it was going to be that easy? Were you shocked that you were able to just have your way with a guy who a lot of people said was a future young rising prospect in the light heavyweight division?
Man, when we got the call for the fight with Odum, and I was told what kind of scene it was going to be on, I don't think I breathed lightly. I ran every day, and when I ran, I was running. And when I did push-ups, if I had to do 200, I did 300. And I constantly told myself, I will not lose this fight. I will not lose this fight. And I knew that I was going to knock Jerry Odum out. I knew it. It wasn't a doubt in my mind. He's a very tough fighter. We fought on the same national team too. I've seen him fight when we were amateurs. So I knew what he was bringing to the table, and I didn't want nobody to. I didn't want to hear nothing light. I wanted to go into the fight like a dog, and it's exactly what I did. Everything I did in the gym was just really, really crucial. I trained hard. I went through the worst training camp ever for that fight, and it showed in the ring. And I really felt like that was like the best shape of my life. I really felt like I could have did 20 rounds that day.
I gotta ask, I'm watching third round, and Odum's nudging you, he's taunting you. When he's doing that, how much you can't be that stupid. You really can't be that stupid. I mean, when he's taunting you and just, daring you to punch him, you must have been sitting there going, can't be that goddamn stupid.
Well, like the commentator said, he said, usually when a fighter's taunting to show he's not hurt, usually means he's hurt. I knew from the first knockdown with the uppercut that he was gone after that, because he's been so protected his career and he's never been knocked down. And I remember my first time being knocked down, and I remember exactly how I felt when I stood up. So I knew, because of the praise and worship that they gave him as far as being a up-and-coming top prospect, that when he got knocked down and the way he got knocked down, I knew when he stood up, his pride was gone. And he wanted to quit. He wanted to quit, but I take my hat off to him because he fought. He kept coming like a champion. He kept coming, but I was not leaving out of that ring without a W.
Lastly, the last fight was talked about earlier in the show. It was you versus LeVar Bell. Once again, you knock him out in the second round. What is that like? When your last 4 fights, all 4 by knockout, 3 of them within the 4th round. What is that like when you just know everything is just gelling? Everything is literally going to, the next level where everything just feels natural.
Man, it makes me want to train harder. It makes me want to train harder. After the fight with Odum, I literally didn't take no time off. I fought Odum on I think a Friday. I got home Saturday and I went and ran 7 miles. I have not took no time off, and just knowing that I'm going to the next level makes me want to push even harder. Everything I do now is for a purpose, and I know what it's like to be at the bottom, and I know what it's like to be at the top. Like I feel really comfortable right where I'm at, and I want to continue to stay there. I'm training hard, and I know people are watching me, and I know they're training hard for me, and I'm training harder, knowing that they're training for me. So I'm really prepared for everything that's coming 2016.
So who's your opponent on coming forward? And what's going on with your status? Are you with Al Heyman? Are you with Top Rank? What's going on with your promotion?
I'm actually me and Uprising Promotion, my team at Uprising Promotion are the ones finding my fights. I am not signed with Al Heyman or none of the big promoters. So we Uprising Promotion and my team, we're on the come up together. So I mean, we look for our opponents, and we wanna fight the better fights that are put me in position for a future world title fight. And we're moving smart. We're moving really smart. So that's who I'm with right now.
Going forward, what's the plan? Because I know that you want to start with your team. But let's face it, the best light heavyweights right now, most of them are with Al Heyman, whether it's Adonis Stevenson, Eldir Alvarez, Andres Fonfara, Artur Beterbiev, Edwin Rodriguez, even guys like Thomas Williams Jr., you got Marcus Brown. There are all those big fights that you want, all those fights that can land you on a bigger network, whether it's Showtime, NBC, CBS, Fox, ESPN. You got to go with Heyman. So down the line, when do you and your team sit down and try to go, okay, we got to get that guy, either Heyman or HBO, the guy who can get us on the big networks, the guy who can get us the six-figure paydays? Well,
when that time comes, I know exactly what to do. As of right now, I haven't heard anything about the whole Al Heyman thing. I would love to be with a big promoter like that, but it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. And my mom always used to tell me, you keep knocking on their door. Eventually somebody's going to have to open it. If they don't, kick it open. So, I mean, I've been fighting hard. I have 3 losses, but I'm proving that just because I have losses doesn't mean I'm a loser. I come to fight and I come to win, regardless of the circumstances. So, I'm knocking on the door. And if they don't open it, I'm going to kick it down. And then they're going to have to eventually sign me. And when I get there, it'll be mine. I'll own that moment.
Once again, it is the pride and joy, once again, of Cedar, Texas. I give you with Samuel Clarkson. Or Samuel, before let's go, where can the fans check you out? Where's the Twitter page, Instagram, Facebook? Where can the fans hit you up at?
My Instagram is TX_main event. And my Facebook is Samuel Clarkson. I don't have a Twitter. I don't have a Twitter, but you can follow my career on Uprising on Twitter. And that's all the social media that I have.
Well, there you have it. Once again, I give you Samuel Clarkson. Samuel, always on a pleasure to have you on the show.
Yes, sir.
We can have you a whole lot more only on ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Yes, sir.